Okay guys, we're back on. So you see what they were talking about right here, and what I was talking about before we went off was conflict-free writing. And that's not what this person is doing right here. Okay? Because you need to write, you need to learn how to write it differently, but at the speed that you are right now, I wouldn't worry about it too much. You're going to go through, proof it before you turn it in as a test, and hopefully you know exactly what he meant, what they meant. Because she wasn't outstanding. She wasn't good in the field. She was outstanding in the field. She wasn't good in the field, which is what outstanding, you know, would be. So, and it just gives you, you know, the different options right here. Outstand in the field, you know, it'll give you a bunch of different options of what it thinks you meant to do there.
Naturally, it alerts you to spelling problems.
See, in spelling problems there, when something is spelled wrong, it's going to be underlined in red. Okay, so when you spell it wrong, it's going to be underlined in red. So you're going to, that ought to alert you that one, you know, maybe it's a proper name that it doesn't know. So, you know, even if it's spelled correctly, then it's okay. You know, when you print it, it's not going to have that red line underneath. It's just telling you in your editing station that that thing is spelled what it thinks is wrong. Okay? Well, this is spelled wrong. Okay? So now it gives you the options. Did you mean field? He's outstanding in the field? Yes. Or was it feel? Was it just feel? You know, so it gives you different options. You know, or fix the misspelling. Alt S was the dictionary. You know, so it'll tell you if it's correct, and then it'll give you the different options.
Alt S?
Alt S is your dictionary.
So if I want to, I can say, do I highlight that word or just put the...
No, just Alt S. Put your cursor on that word and do Alt S.
Found it.
Yeah. Okay?
Problems as you're making them. It also helps with number formatting and
This is pretty cool.
as you're making them. It also helps with number.
Okay, so say you have 3 here. Well, did you mean to stroke it like that? You should have, because you stroked it as a word. But maybe it was, maybe you wanted the number 3. Well, then it already knows. Did you mean 3? $3? 3 o'clock? Roman numeral 3? Convert it to numbers? It'll give you a bunch of different options on numbers. So it's already guessing what it thinks you're doing. Okay? And a lot of times, it'll guess the word that maybe you thought, well, did you mean true right there? And sometimes you'll hit like 1. 1 is your S. So did you mean 1? $1? 1 o'clock? Roman numeral 1? Or is? So maybe the number 1 came out, but it says, well, that's the key for is. Did you mean is? So it's always thinking ahead. Does that make sense to you guys? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Mm-hmm. No?
What do you mean, what is your S? What are you just using it as an example?
When this finger right here is S, I-S. So it's the S on your machine.
Oh, yeah.
So say you went to hit number 1,
Okay.
but your finger slipped off, or you meant to hit is.
I was like, what is S?
No, I mean, don't be embarrassed about asking questions, guys. This is what this is for, okay? And I told you guys the first week we're here, the dumbest question is the one not asked. Trust me. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, ask me. I'll explain it to you. And if you don't ask, then I just assume that you know what I'm talking about. Okay, and that's why I ask you. Make sense? And I'm going to ask you that a lot. Make sense? But, you know, and say you were trying to hit the number 1. Well, it slipped off and you didn't hit your number bar and it put is. Well, and it may go up there. Did you mean is or did you mean number 1? $1, 1 o'clock, you know, whatever. Okay?
formatting, and hyphenation without requiring that your cursor be at the very start of a number.
Seeing how it has, when was that? About 2:30 yesterday. So you wrote it 2 because you're just writing. You're hitting what you hear, which is what you should do, okay? After a while, once you get used to, you know, hearing things certain ways, then you're going to know that they meant 2:30 as in a clock. But the software doesn't know exactly what you were doing. Did it mean 230? Because the guy said, well, how many were there? 230. How many birds were in that field? 230. But you're hearing 230. So you hit 230, 3-0, just like they did right here. So you hit 230. Oh, and they go on, it's like, oh, now I know what he meant, you know. Now I know what he was talking about, but I heard it differently. No big deal. When your cursor comes to 2, it's going to ask you that. Did he mean 230? Because he talks a little bit differently, and he didn't say 230, he just said 230, you know. So people talk differently, and you learn to write what you hear. I mean, that's what we're taught, is that you learn to write what you hear. But they may mean something totally differently, you know. So you don't put exactly what he said. So you're not going to put in the transcript, how many birds were there? 230. And you're going to put it like that? Seriously? Probably not. Absolutely not. Not probably not. Absolutely not. Because you know what he meant. He meant 230. Okay? But it gives you the different options. Well, how much was that? 230. And you know that he meant, you know, dollars. And maybe they said that. How much was it? 230. I mean, he wouldn't have said $230, but maybe he did. I don't know. $230. Okay, well, it kind of threw you off or whatever, so you didn't know what to hit, so you hit 230, forgot the dollars, no big deal. Your cursor comes here, you hit number 2, and it puts $230.
If someone says $230, do you just go ahead and use the symbol?
Yeah.
rather than-
Yeah, and just put $230. Yeah. Okay? Make sense? All right. Or you could put it in Roman numerals. That's 230 Roman numeral. All right?
I think I like that.
Yeah, that'll be cool. When was that? CCXXS yesterday. Probably not. But, you know, it gives you that option. So whatever you know.
AutoMagic is not just one feature, it's a synthesis of years of innovation, including global magic and translation magic. Total Eclipse. Brilliantly simple, simply brilliant.
Okay. Any questions about that?
I will after I actually start using it.
Yeah. And guys, actually, I think what we're going to do is we're going to stop right here because I think we covered a lot of information tonight. And once we get into hyperkeys, it's going to be a whole new box of information. And I mean, it's something that it's going to require a lot of your attention. So we're gonna stop right there today, and next week we're going to talk about hyperkeys. You want to make sure that you're here next week. Okay, hyperkey is really important. Okay, so be here next week. All right?
Can I
Thanks.
grab you and ask you some questions?